Okay, welcome fourth graders to the weathering video test review. Okay, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, so make sure that you have your notebook out and you're looking at your notes so that you know what's going on. Okay, first thing that we should probably look at first is the facts. Okay, basic fact, which is what this whole thing is about, is the breaking down of rocks is called weathering. The breaking down of rocks. Okay. Next, let's go over a couple different types of changes that happen. Okay, there is physical changes. Now, if you look at your notes here, physical change is a change that happens, but nothing new is formed. Okay, you can see the sun is out in step number 1. You can see the ice cream cone. It's nice and fluffy. In step number 2, the ice cream gets knocked off, and the sun has melted it a little bit. What do you have here on the ground? You still have ice cream. The ice cream may not be fluffy. It may now have melted, so it looks different. It has changed size or form, but it is still ice cream. It has undergone a physical change. Nothing new has happened to it. It's still ice cream. Okay. The other type of change is called a chemical change. Now, a chemical change is when something new besides ice cream is actually created or formed. Okay? You have this iron chain. Okay? Now, if you were to add oxygen and water to the iron chain, you get something called rust. Now, rust is no longer iron anymore. It's something completely new. It's rust. Okay? So this is called a chemical change. A chemical change is when something completely new has formed. Okay? This is ice cream to ice cream. This is iron to something completely new and different called rust. That's called a chemical change. So keep those two things in mind as we continue this test review. Okay? This side of the board, and there is one other physical weathering on this side of the board, but physical weathering, which is a lot of this stuff over here, is physical means that you can touch it. Okay? Physical means you can touch it. Okay? You can taste, see, feel, see it. It's made of matter. That's what physical means. You can touch it, it's made of matter. Okay? These are physical weathering examples. Okay? For example, look at this mountain. You can see the rain as it's been constantly pounding down on the side of this mountain. Okay? It has eroded the side of this mountain. You can see it's made a little half circle. That's because everything that is made of matter is made of tiny little things called atoms, and we talked about that in a previous lesson. Now, you can see this little guy here. If you were small enough, you could actually rest on an atom. Okay? You could touch an atom. Okay? So this rain here is made up of tiny little guys called atoms. And they're constantly pounding into the side of this mountain. After a while, you can see it dug a little side, a little half circle into the side of this rock. Okay? The wind, okay, remember wind is also made of tiny little things called atoms. So the wind is constantly pounding into this rock. Woo, 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 woo. And the wind, you can see, has made a little half circle into the rock. This is called abrasion. Abrasion. Another one is called exfoliation. Okay, exfoliation. Now, look at this rock here. The top of the rock has fallen off, okay? It broke off, okay? So now you're left with the other part of this rock. The top part of the rock, just like a dog pile, remember, if you've ever been in a dog pile at recess, everybody goes, dog pile, and they start jumping on one another. Well, the people at the bottom of the dog pile are going to be all squished and tight. The people at the top of the dog pile are going to be all relaxed because nobody's on top of them. The same thing is going on here with the atoms in this rock formation. to the top here, you can see the atoms are all relaxed and loose. Okay. So what happens now is you have like these layers in the rock. This piece breaks off, the top is loose now. Well, this loose layer is more likely to erode now or fall off. So it peels off like the layer of an onion. The next layer now is exposed and it becomes real loose. It falls off like the layer of an onion because it's loose, and so it's going to be more susceptible to wind and water blowing it off. And that keeps on happening, and this rock slowly starts to become weathered by a process called exfoliation. Alright, let's move on here. We talked about abrasion, exfoliation.